Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. I'm Alexandre Capdevielle, working at GitLab as a channel program manager. My goal is to create a program to help you, our partners, and GitLab sales team member to work efficiently and more collaboratively. This is why I'm happy to introduce you to this demo presentation. The purpose of this video is to help you understand how you can demonstrate GitLab without having to construct a project every time on your side and facing challenge that can happen with it. Aside from this video, we'll provide you a GitLab project that can be forked easily into your instance as many times as needed. You will see how with Peter later. This project will be maintained by the GitLab team member to include the latest added value of the solution and avoid any roadblocker that you can face during your time with the client. We will guide you on the messaging as well to point out the best value of it. I think it's important to understand that a demo is not just a feature video, but a dynamic conversation with the customer regarding what they are looking for and what our solution can provide to them. Today, most of our sales team are using MEDPIC methodology to drive deal cycle. So during the demo, we will focus mostly on the decision criteria, which is the second D. In other words, how a potential solution may look like to fit the current infrastructure and organization and how easily it can be implemented, integrated, and be up and running. And how do we know that? If our solution is right for them, by getting as much as customer validation possible. With some yes. The demo is here to show GitLab values to a customer problem. To win a customer, as I mentioned before, is mandatory to get some customer validation at some point, which can be during the demo or at the end of the demo. The best way to do this is by a rhetoric question. We will see some examples just after that. Here, the main value of GitLab, we all know it, it's one single DevOps DevSecOps platform application. We have three other pillars: increase operational efficiency, deliver better product faster, reduce security and compliance risk. There is many little value added to it, like easy of configuration, visibility, collaboration, flexible, and scalable. We will use all this value to try to find a customer validation. GitLab, as an example here, is a one single DevOps application that makes your developer life easier. Do you agree that if your developer don't need to maintain each system, that will help them? Yes. That means you are winning your client on the value each time. Then the goal is to have as many yes possible to get customer validation of your solution. I hope it makes sense, and there is many more examples like this. Is this a collaboration that you're looking for between your dev team members? Yes. Is this security visibility that you see now looks like what you're looking for to avoid any vulnerability in your code or system? Yes. Is this easy to navigate for you? Yes. All of these questions during the demo can validate the client and make a change to the close one of the deal cycle. One of the last questions that I really like it is actually validating verbally, get validation verbally by the customer of the ROI. Do you think that having a workflow in place, as I'm showing you today, can help you deploy your team deploy 3 times faster than how you do today with a different solution you're using? This can help or even replace your ROI, because if the customer is saying yes, he already agreed on the fact that GitLab can make him save money. For best efficiency, the question should be related to the 3 main pain points that the customer shared prior to the demo, to you or to our sales team. What do you think? Enough of the sales of it. I think every demo will be different. Every demo will come with better by practice. But for sure, our GitLab team members are here to help you if needed. I want to give a little shout out to Peter, who helped me on this project and who will present the next part of this video with the implementation and the messaging of it. Thank you everyone again for your time and your partnership with GitLab once again. Peter, that's on you.
Hi everybody, my name is Peter Bojo, Channel Solutions Architect from GitLab. Some of you who watch this video might already know me, if you don't, my role at GitLab is to enable our partners around the technical side of our product. And that's why I'm creating this video now. In this video, I'd like to do a walkthrough of approximately 1 hour long demo of GitLab. So of course, these are just guidelines and you are the ones who know your customers better. So please use this just as it is, a bunch of guidelines, and spend time with the features you think you would be more interesting to your target audience. Before jumping into the demo itself, let me just quickly talk about how to do a demo. At GitLab, we use the tell, show, tell technique. You usually start with a couple of slides, not more than 3 or 4, where you shortly explain what GitLab is, what the demo will be about, and what the audience will see, and just iterate on the key messages around GitLab. Then you switch to your GitLab project and do the actual demo. And at the end, you come back to the slides and relate back to what you've shown in the demo and reiterate on the key messages. Another important tip for an effective demo is to make it as interactive as possible. So stop at certain points and make sure the audience is still following you, as well as ask questions which could start a conversation regarding certain features. So because through these discussions, all through these discussions, try to emphasize as much as possible the values GitLab can bring to your customers. So as you can see on the screen, on the video, I usually use these couple of slides. We will share this deck with you alongside the video you are watching right now. As you can see, it's very short. So really just the main points, like what are the main problems people in the industry see with DevOps tooling, what do they would like to achieve, and how GitLab can help them achieve that. And at the end, it's a high-level overview of the GitLab workflow, which you are supposed to show in the upcoming demo. So with these slides, make sure your audience understands what GitLab is, why its approach is unique in the DevOps world, and what will be covered in the upcoming demo. This is the goal of the first tell part. After that, you do the show part, the demo itself, and at the end, tell part again, come back to the slides, reiterate on the key messaging. So here you usually just switch to GitLab, and let's take a look at the actual demo project. So we'll provide you with all the information you need to set up such a demo project in your own environment. It's a very simple one, more or less a Hello World Node.js application, but complex enough to showcase all the important features of GitLab, especially our ultimate ones. So first step, start with a short overview of the UI itself, show how easy it is to navigate all the different features. So here you have all the different features. In the sidebar, you have your profile settings, assigned merge requests and issues, really just to get a feel for the application. And here it's a great opportunity to iterate on the one application approach. So talk about how everything development related in one place can reduce the amount of context switches, thus saving time and making your teams more productive. Mention how it also makes hiring and onboarding much easier and faster, because if somebody knows GitLab, they can be productive in your team very fast, so a new joiner. And talk about how providing your employees with the highest quality tools helps to retain top talent. At this point, before diving into the details of the project, take some time to show what is a group, what is a project in GitLab, and how you can organize your teams and work with them. So this is a project which I'm showing right now. It's part of the projects group, so group named projects. And that one is also part of a group named pbojo, which is my username here at GitLab. So in this one has other groups and other projects. So the whole hierarchy, spend just some time with that. And it's also a great place to talk about that there are some features that are available both on the project and the group level. So as you can see, for example, the security and compliance and analytics are available here on the group level, which is an aggregated view of all the projects in this group hierarchically. But if I just go back to my project, these are there as well. So you can zoom on in a project. And just talk about how this hierarchical setup enables top-down project management techniques and can bring more visibility and clarity into your processes. So that's the main goal here. And this is a great time to show the analytics features and how those can be a single pane of glass into what's happening in your project. So maybe not use this project because it doesn't have much data, obviously. And this feature really works when you have a lot of historical data and you can surface that information in these dashboards. So for this part, I usually actually use the GitLab project. So this project is used by GitLab the company, because GitLab the company uses GitLab the product, so gitlab.com, the SaaS version, to develop GitLab the application. And this is just a great place to point out the openness of GitLab, how we operate. And here you can actually see something real life. So how a real project with a real group or a real project with many data looks like. Spend as much time as you think it's necessary for your customers here. But after that, just switch back to the project and start from the beginning of the GitLab flow, essentially. So go to the issue board and talk about how it is a traditional Kanban board that you can customize according to your needs by adding different columns. Mention that in context of GitLab, an issue doesn't necessarily mean it's a problem. It's just that's how we call the smallest piece of trackable work in our product. So show how easy it is to collaborate through issues. Just open one, assign somebody or change the assignment, add some labels, or just talk a little bit about labels, talk about time tracking, how you can track time through issues, and just iterate on how all of these, or talk about how you can communicate under an issue. So how issues are really the place to plan your work, where you can have an ongoing discussion in comments. So just iterate on how this brings additional visibility into your processes and reduce the time spent on planning by making the communication in your teams more efficient. So that's pretty much it. After that, take some time with the merge request. So here you can just jump into the connected merge request that is connected to this issue. Talk about how issues and merge requests complement each other nicely in the standard GitLab flow. Explain that issues are more for planning and tracking work, while merge requests are the place where the actual development work happens. Show how easy it is to navigate between the two. I just did that. Or you can navigate back and forth again through this link to the issue. Reiterate on the value of having one single application, one UI, and how this facilitates the easy collaboration in the team. Here you can also touch on the new Web IDE. So you just come here, code, open Web IDE, open in a new tab, and show how easy it is to make changes to your code without even leaving your browser window. I think that's nice. And here you can mention how using issues and merge requests together can make GitLab the single source of truth for all of your development activities. After that's cleared, so issues, merge requests, we are through that. Go to the pipelines, talk a little bit about them. Don't really get into the technical details of how you create them. Just explain that they are now an industry standard in software development and a method for automating your workflows. Stress how much time you can save by automating manual tasks and how you can go to production and deliver new features faster and with greater confidence. Here you can mention Auto DevOps and explain how that unique feature of GitLab can enable customers to quickly hit the ground running with pipelines. Also explain that using pipelines for building, testing, and deploying your application increases the visibility of what's happening in your projects. And here you can just show the pipelines as I'm doing here right now. So this is the dashboard. Here you can see the status of each pipeline run and what stage each pipeline is in. You can see it's all good. Here some issue happened, it failed. Which pipeline correlates to which merge request and which branch. That's how it is. And also here you can just click on one of the pipelines, quickly show that, okay, this is how a pipeline looks like, not digging deep into the details again, because that might turn off actually a big part of an audience if they are not all like technical people, for example, or they just don't know GitLab that deep. And also you can point out, if you go back to the merge request here, that the pipeline have been run for the merge request as well. So that's a nice feature here that's out of the box there. And connected to the pipelines, you can also show the environments. So you can just display that, okay, from GitLab, the one application that I do all my development activities, here I can just open my production instance very easily. Also a nice feature to call out if you think it would be appropriate for the audience, the review apps, which is from AutoDevOps, which is basically an automatic deployment of your application where you can just see the upcoming changes. So everybody, again, iterating on the messaging of visibility and transparency inside your team. Everybody in your team can not just check the code of what is in production and what is coming up, but they can actually check a running version of your application. That's a nice one to point out. Connected to the pipelines, before moving on, it's very nice to touch on the topic of GitLab being fully vendor neutral. So explain that it means that it doesn't matter which cloud provider and deployment technology you use, GitLab will work exactly the same. Touch on the topic of hosting GitLab yourself and how that can also be done in any public as well as public cloud, as well as on your or your customer's own infrastructure. Talk about how GitLab SaaS, the GitLab.com and self-managed GitLab instances are running the exact same version of GitLab, and because of that have the same feature set. Explain that, as demonstrated so far, how having one tool for doing everything from planning until deployment into production, as you displayed, can make your teams much more efficient. Because instead of spending time with maintaining your point solution tools and the integration between those tools, you can spend time with what actually matters, that is delivering value to your customers. The rest of the demo should be spent with security and compliance features here on the sidebar. Please note that these features are only available in Ultimate licenses, so skip this part if you are talking to potential premium customers. If you don't skip it, make sure you walk through at least 3 features here. So vulnerability report, dependency list, and license compliance. Explain how these are enabled by pipelines, in this case, automatically by AutoDevOps. Talk about the importance of shifting left and how reporting security and compliance issues early in the development lifecycle can save your customer significant amount of time and money. Here it's a great place to talk about some past security breaches that reached even the mainstream media, like the Log4j vulnerability or the SolarWinds hack, and point out how using GitLab can protect your organization from making these sometimes very, very expensive mistakes. So for the security features, for the vulnerability report, talk about how easy it is to understand each vulnerability. So you can just pick one random, click on it, and talk about what you see here. Talk about how you can create a new issue to track its remediation, closing the whole DevSecOps loop here. Show that you can triage issues. Mention the possibility of exporting this report both from the UI and through an API. So if you need this data outside of GitLab, that's also possible. For the dependency list, explain what an SBOM, a software bill of material, is, why is it important, and that you can download it from an API or here from a button too. Mention that not only direct dependencies are covered in this report, but all the indirect ones too. This way, making it transparent, and it makes it much easier to secure your entire software supply chain. For license compliance, explain the dangers of accidentally using dependencies with conflicting licenses. Explain how you can detect such problems with this feature before going into production and before getting into legal trouble because of licenses mismatch between your application and their dependencies. pretty much that's it. So after this point, I usually just close the demo with going back to the slides and reiterating on the key messages. You can review this slide. You can review this slide as well. Really up to you, up to your presentation style. And at this point, I just want to cover one more topic. Because the messaging is all about GitLab being the one DevSecOps platform that you can use to do all your software development activities in, a lot of customers get worried that they will be the victim of vendor lock-in and won't be able to use anything else if they invest in GitLab. If this topic comes up, and it comes up quite often in these demos, make sure you explain to them that even though you get the best value for your investment if you use GitLab for everything you can, it doesn't mean you cannot integrate GitLab with third-party tools. Here you can reference some of our most well-known integrations like Jira or Jenkins. And pretty much that's it from me. So I hope this walkthrough about how to do a GitLab demo was useful for you as a partner. And goodbye and have a nice rest of your day.